Hey, yo, 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 what up, what up, what up, what up? As y'all can see, I got a different name on the screen for myself. Some of y'all remember my previous channel name of theotherayj. And of course, I did a live stream about the energy werewolf using the same name on the screen. I figured, just some little just some nostalgia. Just some nostalgia as we move along and we continue to grow. Y'all could kind of see how I've taken this journey to be Rayology XM. Yeah, y'all can see how I became Rayology XM. What's good, Logan? Yes, first. I see you. Good to see you in the building. You gonna like this one. I see you as well, Sheed. Good to see you as well. Let's go. And yeah, before I get started, I just want to say I hope everybody's doing well despite the times that we live in. And mainly, I say that because of the weather. Oh man, it's been like, man, these blizzards been kind of a trip lately. Like, it just reminds you that spring ain't here yet. It's getting here, but it ain't here yet. But yeah, also, another thing I wanted to talk about is it seems I'm getting more demand to just be around, to go live. A lot of people look forward to me going live. I appreciate that. And of course, one good incentive would be if you tip yours truly. Not that I expect it, but hey, it's a good thing, just letting me know what people really be looking forward to. They be wanting me to, hey, go live for us, Ray. So there you go. Just keeping that in mind. If some of y'all have that in mind, there you go. But but yeah, I definitely want to be on here a little more often. I mean, my schedule is getting busier, but a lot of people like that my content is not like the manosphere. And obviously, I'm not affiliated with the manosphere. I'm not a Red Pill channel, MGTOW channel, SYSBM. I'm not a Player Talk channel, Alpha channel, you name it. I'm not none of that. I'm just yours truly, Rayology XM, formerly known as the other Ray J on YouTube, because I'm still the other Ray J on Instagram. Let's go though. You said, Logan, this is gonna be interesting. This topic about to be deep. Underworld, deep lichens, werewolves, the dark side of nature of the moon. And yeah, by the way, Logan, when you get a chance, go into my playlist, live streams from yours truly, where you will see the first installment of this type of live stream. And it's just simply called The Energy Werewolf. Now, let's go in. Hope y'all got y'all popcorn, nachos, hot dogs, and soda. This could be a doozy. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it could be a doozy if right now you're chilling in a jacuzzi. I wish I was. But yeah, the energy vampire. Let's get that started because a lot of people know what the energy vampire is. And basically, the energy werewolf is pretty much opposite of that. And of course, there's another element to that that Logan brought up uh, in his comment in the chat when he brought up werewolves and lichens. And of course, I've talked about both werewolf and lichen because there's a difference between the two. Go check out that live stream that I just told Logan about in my playlist titled Live Streams from Yours Truly, titled The Energy Werewolf. But yeah, the energy vampire, uh, somebody explained it so well, and I'm gonna actually use that as my prop. Yes, I'm gonna use that as my prop for tonight. My moderator, one of my moderators named Brown Do Life. So shout out to Brown Do Life. He had a good definition overall, which summed up the energy vampire. And basically, it's people looking to steal others' energy without investing anything in return. I was like, yo, that's a very good definition of an energy vampire because that's really what they do. But when Brown Do Life stated people looking to steal others' energy without investing anything in return, I figured let's put a quotation mark on the word looking, okay? Because it's not just that people steal one's energy. They are looking to steal. So they might not necessarily steal, they're just looking to steal. They're always trying to send out threats. To me, that's also part of what the energy vampire is all about, how they threaten you. They might not necessarily do anything to you, but they sure know how to put about a good threat. It kind of reminds me in the scripture where it says, beware of the adversary, for he walketh around like a lion, seeking whom he may devour. Not to say he actually will devour, but he seeks whom he may devour. A lot of what he does is prowling around. Sometimes energy vampires do that in their own way when they try to threaten you, even though they're not going to do anything. They're just all cap, you know. But see, they don't want to get the werewolf to come out. They usually run away from the werewolf. Yeah, that part. Because they don't want the cap to be put on their mouth that the werewolf normally does put into the vampire's mouth. You said, Logan, think like a man. Dope playlist. I appreciate that, Logan. Yeah, and for those who don't know about that playlist, Think Like a Man, that's here at my channel. Go look that up. Just as it is spelt, the way that Logan spelt it. Think Like a Man. And basically, to be honest, it's the offshoot of everything I'm talking about right now in regards to the energy werewolf, but also how I deviated myself from the Sigma personality. You know, you could kind of see that I've taken it a step further. I've went beyond just what Sigma is. Some people still kind of see me as like a Sigma male type, but I've always seen myself as more than that. Obviously, I must be something more than Sigma if I can come up with all these different ideas. Don't y'all think? So let's go. But let's get further into this talking point about the energy werewolves dark side. Okay. Well, here's the thing. Just to summarize something for y'all, I said that before, and I'll just kind of go over it briefly again. The energy vampire, basically, as most know, that's the narcissist. That's the energy vampire. So the energy werewolf has to be the codependent. And I went over prior what it was like for an energy werewolf to be a codependent and why I believe this is so about an energy werewolf. But in a very short, quick brief of that, let's say this: since the energy vampire drains you, tries to take from you, then the energy werewolf obviously must try to put a lot in you. Okay, so think of this: the energy vampire obviously is more of a parasite, and in regards to its bite, yes, the energy vampire when it bites, it's more of a parasite, whereas with the energy werewolf, it's more like a venomous creature when it bites. Okay, so yes, the energy vampire takes away, the energy werewolf gives a lot. Basically, the drainage from the vampire versus the venom from the werewolf, if you will. So you got to think, um, how can this be to where it could be the eventual dark side of a werewolf? Because obviously venom is toxic, right? So there could be an essence or an aspect of codependency that can eventually become toxic. Okay, like when you pouring a lot into a situation, or as they say, beating a dead horse. That's to me a toxic. It's a toxic aspect of codependency and part of the dark side of a werewolf. Okay, where you're just pouring too much into a situation, where you crying too much over spoiled milk. Okay, but how does this actually lead to maybe some narcissism? Yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to go there. Okay. Well, obviously, after so long, after so many spoiled milks, after so many dead horses that you beat, eventually you just get tired. You get tired of it. And you slowly start to become a darker aspect of the werewolf. Okay. Now, lichens are totally different than that, because I might have to do an edit of my video that I did about is narcissism witchcraft. You can check that out in my playlist titled From Yours Truly 2019. But back then I often wonder, well, what is the merge of the werewolf and this vampire type, right? And some people would say that was the lichen, but no. The lichen, as history shows, not what the underworld depicts of lichen. Lichen is truly what they call a lycanthrope. It is totally a separate entity. Whereas in the movie, they called, I believe, no, it was actually no in the movie. Let me correct myself once again. In the movie, it was a lichen werewolf hybrid, or oh, no, it was a vampire werewolf hybrid. That's what that is. And so that's ultimately the dark side of the energy werewolf, is that you become a hybrid. You become a little bit like the werewolf, codependent, but you also have narcissistic traits of a vampire, because you basically become that type of gray individual to where you want to care, but you say forget about it. Whereas the lichen, unlike the werewolf, it is aware of those that don't care, but knows how to discern without actually giving up in situations, without actually becoming more narcissistic. Like the werewolf becomes even a darker shade of itself under a full moon, as I define as the true depression of an individual. Whereas with the lichen knows how to be more balanced. Like it doesn't let depression get to him or her. You said, Logan, lichens is a man with tamed ferocity. Every man has a dark side if provoked to anger, rage. The inner werewolf is a hunter, warrior, and the beast all in one, and then some. The inner lichen is within all man. Yeah, within all man should be balanced, but some people become what? Unstable. And that's the werewolf side of it, the energy werewolf side of it. When you do too much, some people kind of call this kind of where they would say the so-called nice guy starts to lose it. He becomes, because some people would say, well, he wasn't nice at all if he let things get to him. But no, at the same time, some people let things get to them and they just lose it. They were codependent all this time and they finally lose it. Some people become more of a werewolf type and they just really go overboard with this crime of passion mentality. But some people actually become a little more narcissistic to where they just kind of don't care about a lot of things that they normally used to care about. Oh, that's what's up, She. That's what's up. I appreciate that. And so with the lichen, if you will, or the form, the actual term, the lycanthrope, but yeah, we'll say lichen. The lichen knows how to balance to where the lichen doesn't let things get to him or her. You know that some people out there are just going to be a certain way in this humanity, this insanity in humanity, but you don't get panicky. You don't just lose it. You don't just let the beast get the best of you. You see, the lichen knows how to be balanced. That's why the lichen remains wolf day and night. Whereas the dark side of the energy werewolf, well, the energy werewolf already is losing it, just because he's in a deep depression. However, the rage increases in regards to the depression of the werewolf, whereas it starts to take on more of a rabid persona, kind of back to what the folklores depict of werewolves not only biting people but actually trying to eat them. So a lot of people can just simply just start to hate the world around them if they feel they've had enough of the way the world is. So that's the dark side of the werewolf. You said she lichen has both sides. Oh yeah, for sure. In regards to just it's not like it's actually narcissistic, but it balances a lot of the reality of codependent in narcissist. It doesn't like let things get the best of it. It's like a neutral side. That's kind of like what the lichen is to best describe it. Whereas the werewolf, the energy werewolf type, remains in this codependent state, this giving state, but then they become more toxic with their codependency. Yeah, they become more toxic with the codependency, and they just eventually it just becomes more venomous. Like everything they do just seems more toxic now. No matter what good that they do, and it's like, but you're doing this towards someone that's probably a narcissist anyway. So that's kind of how that goes. You said, Logan, you said if we get strength, power, and energy from the sun, do we gain power, strength, and energy from the moon? Yes, we get vitamins and nutrients from the sun, but what about the moon? Do we get anything? And that's a good question. To be honest, I've always been under the belief that the moon is actually artificial. And I don't say this as a conspiracy theorist. There was actually a time in culture where a lot of the ancestors said there was a time before the moon. A lot of people speak about this back in the day. Many civilizations speak about this. So, yes, that's a good point you brought up, Logan, because you don't really get anything from the moon overall. Like, not anything. Like, you just find life that knows how to get through it, really. A lot of animals have adapted to night living because a lot of them didn't want to be uh, prey during the day. But you also have some predators that thought the same way. They didn't want to be taken out by another predator, like the hunter didn't want to become the hunted. But you also have some predators that found that it's easier to get prey at night, so they adapted as well. So there's many different ways we can look at this. Okay, so but yeah, I don't believe you get anything from the night, but you know how to get through things because of the night, if you will. But yeah, during the day, the sun, that's our refresh, that's our reset. You see, but that's the beauty of the lichen. The lichen knows that it has to live off the sun and it doesn't thrive off the full moon, aka the depression. It doesn't let a lot of things get to it. It has its depressions, but it finds a way to balance that to keep its inner beast balanced. And that's actually the true mentality of a wolf. Even though the wolf is an apex predator, guess what? It's actually one of the most playful predators out there, if you will. Same thing with orcas. Orcas, there's nothing in the sea that is going to stand up to an orca. It even goes after the great white sharks. And ironically, they call orcas the wolves of the sea. Yes, you said also, Logan. Werewolves are feral, animalistic beasts with lack of self-control, while the lichen is a tamed warrior who master the monster and keeps his intelligence and intellect. Exactly. So if you were to see what an actual lichen looks like in person, he doesn't look exactly like a wolf. Okay. That's what you get with the werewolf. Okay. The lichen is a little balance of the human slash wolf or beast appearance, if you will. Okay. It's funny because when you get into the realm of these vampires and these werewolves, you get more beastly depictions in your mind and your imagination. But with the lichen, no, there's that balance. Okay. There's that balance. But yeah, with this werewolf vampire hybrid, okay, how did this individual become more vampire like? How did this werewolf type, how did this codependent become more narcissistic? Well, he obviously got bit by a vampire. He got too much caught up in the narcissism. Okay. So, you gotta keep that in mind. You gotta keep in mind that when you let narcissism get to you and you become more narcissistic, even though you were a codependent, you basically let the vampire bite you. You let them take away from you. And then you end up becoming just like them. And so basically this is well, like I've always said, like about narcissists, especially with the vampires. I said before, vampires, they represent the psychopath side of things. And the people that they bite become sociopaths. Okay, sociopaths were birthed from psychopaths that made them that way. So what about a werewolf type? The werewolf is the empath. Okay, werewolf represents the empath. However, when the vampire bites you, you also become sort of a sociopath, but not in the same vein as an actual sociopath. You'll have more of this warpath. You'll have more of this thing of where you're just mad and you don't know why. Kind of like Wolverine. Wolverine, he best explains this whole dark side of the energy werewolf, where he just basically had his innocence taken away, right? That's the story of Wolverine. And so after that, he's just been in a fit of rage his whole life. I believe that Wolverine, if you will, I believe Logan, not talking about Logan in the chat, but I believe Logan didn't truly be able to balance himself and become more of the liking side of who he is until he became old man Logan. That's when Logan actually found balance in his life, was when he became old man Logan, and he wasn't as dark. He wasn't as dark with his werewolf side. And maybe I have to correct myself just what I said before. Like, I don't really believe that Logan, aka the Wolverine, was really more of a Lycan. He was still more of the energy werewolf type. You know, I believe he was more codependent. He didn't have a chance to have a childhood. He didn't have a chance to balance himself, to be more, I would call, Lycanized. There you go, a new term by yours truly. He didn't have a chance to balance himself out. He only was living in this fit of rage. And basically there was times when the moon wasn't out, where Wolverine didn't have to pull his claws out every time. And of course he used to drink a lot, because of his healing factor. He didn't feel pain like everybody else. But that was what calmed him down, but it still didn't balance him. 1 second. You said, Logan, you said a Lycan is civilized but can turn into a savage if that side of him is needed. Yeah, he's like a surgeon. He's surgical with it, and he has an on and off switch. Not that he's bipolar, or some can say tripolar. The Lycan is balanced. Whereas with the energy werewolf, especially when you get to the dark side of an energy werewolf, there's no the train, you won't be able to stop the train with the energy werewolf type. You won't be able to stop the train. You said, she, man, you need to check out Perfect Timing podcast show, the wolf versus sheep. Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely got to check more out of Perfect Timing podcast. He comes over here quite a bit, so I appreciate you bringing that up, Sheed, and shout out to Perfect Timing. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. I appreciate you giving me that insight, Sheed, for sure. But keep this in mind too. Let me bring up some other stuff for y'all. Um, let's kind of go back to sort of some things that I brought up with my previous live stream about the energy werewolf. The thing about the energy vampire is that, of course, one knows they always withhold information. You don't really know them like that. I can see if, over time you're growing to know somebody, because I don't say get to know, I say grow to know. But over time, as you growing to know somebody, yeah, you want things to just kind of be to where you know about a person one day at a time, okay? You don't want to just spill the beans on everything. If it's mutual and the situation is trustworthy, yeah, you don't mind the fact that you knowing a person one day at a time. I think there's a beauty to that. There's always something new you learn about that person every day that brings delight. Yes, it brings a lot of delight to you. So yes, kind of what Logan spoke on earlier about getting nutrients from the sun, the light. Okay, so to me, it has to be a what delightful situation. It can't be what I would call a narcissistic situation to where there's no light in that situation, to where it's not delightful. It's not delightful when people just don't want you to know more about them one day at a time. Okay. But see, that's the other thing though. What I didn't mention prior is that these same people that don't want you to know a lot about them, they want to know a lot about you at the same time. You see? But this is how also the energy werewolf can develop their dark side. What if they've been the type to always be transparent with somebody? You know a lot about them. They don't mind sharing that part of them to you. They want you to know that they're real, that they're authentic. Okay? But what if over time they get tired of doing that because they see how people take advantage of what they know about that person? What if someone got tired of just I'm tired of letting people know about me. Okay, I'm tired of that. People take advantage of that. Yeah, people take advantage of that. People use that information against me. Well, you start to get more into your dark side. Okay, start to get more into that dark side of the energy werewolf type. And maybe, just maybe, you might flip it. You might say, hey, they want to pry into my business. Guess what? I'm going to pry into theirs. They want to look me up. I'm going to look them up too. But that brings out the side of you that was never there. You let that narcissism get into you. You let that vampire bite you as the werewolf you once were. But see, this is what the lichen does instead. The lichen still shares things with an individual one day at a time, but they make sure that person that they're sharing that information with is someone that is trustworthy. And it's not going to be a lot of people that they share information with. That's the thing. The lichen knows how to discern who's who from who to avoid ever even entertaining the dark side or whatever. See, that's the thing. Basically, one could wrap this live stream up by basically saying that the energy werewolf's dark side is that he becomes a hybrid werewolf slash vampire, just as it is in the Underworld movie, right? That hybrid type. And then, of course, as one could say about the werewolf slash vampire hybrid type, he was stronger than both werewolf and vampire. And vampire, he basically ate the vampire for breakfast, just as he could eat the werewolf for breakfast. Okay, so and probably could eat people for breakfast too. Just mad at the world, but at the same time, who knows? Maybe the werewolf slash vampire hybrid might find a way to be somewhat balanced, like a lichen. You know what I'm saying? Just based on it being hybrid. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe there's this thing about hybrid versus balance. Maybe that's not the same, right? So the appearance of that werewolf slash vampire hybrid in the movie Underworld, it had somewhat the phenotype of the werewolf and the vampire, a little bit of both. That was unique about that hybrid. And there are people like this out here who are these energy werewolf slash energy vampire hybrid type of people who you just do not want to get on their dark side that they have come to know. You know, what's good, Mike? Good to see you once again, man. You said, Logan, like a wolf when they sniff to see if they are part of the group or an outsider. Exactly. That's the thing about wolves that make them so different than dogs. Wolves do not wag their tail at you when they first see you. Dogs always do that though. Even if the dog doesn't like you, it still will wag its tail out of curiosity. A wolf does not wag its tail at you at all if it doesn't know you. Then once it gets comfortable with you, then it starts to wag its tail and get a little more playful after that. And like I keep telling these people, you can't act like you would with a wolf like you would with a dog. Wolves don't respond to this my owner is the alpha type of mentality. Wolves don't do that. You try to say to a wolf, sit down. Yo, shh, shh, be quiet. That wolf gonna snarl right back at you, and you don't want to deal with the 1,500 pounds per square inch pressure of that bite force from that wolf. You don't want to deal with that. You do not want to deal with that. Excuse me. And the other thing, when a wolf, it's not like a dog. A dog, it at least knows how to, like, when you give it food, it's gentle. Dogs are gentle when they get food from you. A wolf, no, it clamps its jaws immediately when it tries to get food from you if you're trying to feed a wolf. So be careful if you're trying to feed a wolf. 1 second. Had to get some H2O there. Had to get some H2O there. So I sort of, hopefully, in a nutshell, have given y'all an idea of how codependence can become more narcissistic, or how can energy werewolves become more like energy vampires, or how they can become more hybrid like. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I brought up some other elements to this because it's not just energy werewolf slash energy vampire hybrids that go after vampires. I brought up other elements. There's more to it than this, and I talked about this in my previous live streams about the energy werewolf. If you go into my playlist, live streams from yours truly, and you'll see that live stream titled "The Energy Werewolf." There's so many elements to this, but um, I want to talk about an individual, and y'all let me know in the chat or even on the replay what y'all think of this individual. I'll tell you this individual was not a narcissist. So, yes, this individual was not an energy vampire. And of course, this individual was also not a sociopath or a psychopath in regards to a narcissist. So, yes, this individual that I'm about to talk about has nothing to do with being a narcissist, aka energy vampire. I will say that much. But you let me know if this individual could possibly be an energy werewolf or a lichen. One could say an energy lichen as well. Maybe that's for another live stream. Maybe I'll talk about sort of this idea of a energy lichen, because we speak on lichens. Logan giving y'all his perspective about lichen, which is a good perspective. You can go into my playlist titled Think Like a Man to get more of that perspective. But I haven't said nothing about the energy side of a lichen. I've said nothing about that. But yeah, this individual. Who is this individual I want to talk about tonight? Believe it or not, believe it or not, it's Gary Coleman. Look up Gary Coleman when y'all get a chance. So much I did not even know about Gary Coleman, and blessed be upon his soul. Blessed be Gary Coleman. He had a very rough life. He was adopted at a young age. And of course, he had um, a growth deficiency, which is why he always looked like a child, even as an adult. But that didn't stop his adopted parents from doing the unthinkable. So this is what happened. Of course, he was able to use his childlike looks to be a celebrity, do a lot of TV shows back in the day. But you know, everyone gets old eventually. So he only could do that for so long. But he accepted his reality of just the way he's made. He actually was even able to be married. Okay. So, hey, anybody can find somebody out here, you know? So let's go. With that said, during that time that he was that childhood star, his parents were milking off of him, took all of his savings, took everything he earned, all of it. And then when Gary got older, he was able to, win a lawsuit against his parents for all that money they took from him when he was doing those childhood shows, but they weren't able to pay that money back to him. He lived a very rough life, a hard life. His adoptive parents used all of that money he made on drugs and all that crazy stuff back in those days. It was insane. They just treated him so wrong, man. I really felt for Gary, and now understood why he got so bitter as he got older. It's unfortunate. And yes, you're right, Sheed. Michael Jackson can also be in this story too, because the same thing happened to him. Same thing happened to him in many ways. Yeah, yeah, very sad story, she. Very sad story. And let's get to the gal that he married. Okay, she abused him a lot. Okay, so he had to deal with that, and he ended up dying with no money, with nothing. People just forgot all about Gary Coleman. He lived such a rough life. Okay, so I say, to be honest with y'all, actually no. Yeah, y'all know. Hey, and the answer is yeah. He was on the dark side of the energy werewolf. He was probably such a nice person, and always wanted to give and just love the world despite the way he was made, and he just wanted to be good, but he had a bad childhood. Parents was abusing him, and then the people he ran into abused him. And he had to live with that. He had to live with that chip on his shoulder. He wasn't able to be balanced and overcome. I think Michael Jackson was close. I think, to be honest with you, Michael Jackson became more of the werewolf vampire hybrid. And of course, yeah, what Thriller, Thriller of the Night. You know that song Thriller. You know what I mean? He showed his werewolf side. Yeah, I think he was more werewolf than vampire on that music on that music video he did. But he was showing that werewolf side of him at that time. Yeah, so all this actually ties in. It's amazing how things are connected, and it's connected with this live stream so gracefully. Appreciate that, Sheik. So, but this was definitely Michael Jackson. Little did he know as well. You know, like you grew up as a codependent amongst vampires. See, but these vampires hate the day when you actually start to be more like them. You be more of a hybrid, because the hybrid is going to go after whoever made them that way, just like Wolverine did. He tried to go after whoever made him that way. That's kind of what I see with all this, right? Yeah, the narcissist has more to fear as a psychopath, not from the sociopaths, but from the empaths, these codependents that snap and start to go on this warpath due to them taking on some of these narcissistic traits. These type of hybrids tend to learn a lot about narcissistic people, and they spend the rest of their days going after these narcissistic people. Oh yeah. So whenever you see these people lash out, it's for those type of people. These narcissistic people, people can say they're just uh bitter and got a grudge. No, they're like, no, they're on a mission. These type of people, these hybrid type of dark-sided werewolf hybrid types, they're on a mission. They don't see themselves as bitter, because they're not necessarily mad at the world, even though it might seem that way. No, they're just looking and going after the people they felt made them that way. Because these type of people were probably so nice and kind. I think of even Bane on Batman. Okay, little do people know Bane actually slept with a teddy bear, and I believe he slept with that teddy bear even in his adult years. So maybe in that Dark Knight movie that we saw, the latest one with Bane, he probably had a teddy bear with him. But that was his inner child still there. Whatever was robbing him of that, he was trying to deal with that as he got older. That's why Bane was never really a true villain. He was what I would call an anti-villain. He wasn't an anti-hero, but he was definitely an anti-villain. Okay, he went after other villains. That's the thing that's unique about Bane. And even when people felt like he broke Batman, he wasn't really trying to break Batman. He wanted Batman to be rebuilt. That's really what Bane did. Bane actually did Batman a favor by breaking him so he could Batman can rebuild himself to who he really needed to be as Batman, which I felt they screwed up with this latest Batman movie. And I apologize if I'm kind of spilling the beans for those who were trying to see this new Batman movie, which had one of the greatest, highest gross releases. in a long time, especially during the pandemic for a movie. So yes, shout out to the latest Batman movie, but the Batman movie that where Bane broke him, they were supposed to pick up where they left off from that. And Batman should be so great to where no one like even Moon Knight should be able to supersede him, you know, but we don't see that. We see now that we see a bunch of these people remain what? Dark in the night on the dark side. But I believe, yes, there are more people that are like him, you know. I believe so. I think I'm not sure, Michael. I'm not really good on like the Batman series, but it's the one where Christian Bale was in. The one where Christian Bale was in, and uh, Bane basically broke his back. I forget which one it was, but yeah, The Dark Knight. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it, Michael. Uh, but that's what happens. You get on this dark side, right? As this codependent, and you run into someone that, to be honest, I'm gonna say this. This is gonna be very controversial. What you saw with Bane and Batman was a werewolf breaking down another werewolf. That's what you saw. Maybe Bane was more of a werewolf vampire hybrid, but in essence, he broke down another werewolf. He didn't kill him. No, because even Bane said, "No, Batman, I'm not gonna kill you. You know, I'm not trying to kill you. I'm trying to let you see what is out here. Like you're not seeing this real reality, and then I might do something. But I'm not really trying to kill you like that. I'm not trying to do it. I'm trying to show you something. So that's kind of unique. That's unique that Bane chose that route because he wanted Batman to see what he saw, what made him the way he is. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of like, to me, you even got people who've done heinous crimes. Some of these people weren't originally evil people. That's why some of these people, even upon death row, like to leave notes. You know what I'm saying? Not obviously the ones that believed they were innocent the whole time, but the ones that specifically knew that they took out a lot of bodies, but they would leave this note of, they were once innocent. They were once not the way they were. They became this way. They accepted their fate of death row, but they were like, I wasn't always like this. Something made me this way. Everybody tends to think that every serial killer is psychopathic. No, it's not always like that. Some people did not start off that way, okay? Some people became a certain way. Some people had too much of that vampire, that narcissism get to them, okay? And then they became even more of a monster than any psychopath could ever see themselves being, than any vampire could ever see themselves being. These hybridized people. But yes, the lichen type of individual versus the hybrid, and even the dark side of the energy werewolf type, they know how to balance themselves. They don't let a lot of things get to them. People can say the coldest things, the harshest things, but they've seen more. They know, oh, this is a narcissist. This is just another joke here. you know, that's all this is. This is just another joke, right? So that's kind of how that goes, and that's what you have to be key on. You said, Michael, Ted Bundy was ladies' man, then turned. Exactly. Boom, bingo. That's one example right there. So yeah, that's perfect example of the energy werewolf getting to the dark side and possibly becoming hybridized. So there's different levels to that. Like, did he turn because he became more narcissistic, or did he turn because he just became more depressed and became just a darker energy werewolf, right? Now, to be honest, I believe he just became more of a darker energy werewolf. He literally did what the werewolves did many years ago in the folklores, where the werewolves go out into the valleys and try to eat people. Literally, that's kind of what I see Ted Bundy, right? But yeah, everybody got their perspective on it. Let me know what y'all think. Hopefully, I've made it clear enough to where y'all can give me your assessment on it, okay? And even if it's not similar to what I just spoke on, it's still worthy of a conversation. You see what I'm saying? Um, but there's so many things I want to share with y'all. In the in the comment section, for those listening to this on the replay, because I wish I could put this into the, maybe I just might be able to do this. I think I might be able to do this. Let me see something. I'm gonna put this, there's a link just to give people an idea, because some people don't know. There's a difference between the lichen and the werewolf, just to be on the surface with what I'm saying, so that you can get an idea of what I'm talking about from the socio perspective. Because there's definitely a difference. I want y'all to know that, so that as you start to analyze where I'm coming from, then you could know kind of why people do what they do, why people tick the way they tick. See, narcissistic people never really tick like that. They don't. They just remain in this hostile, bitter, hateful stage. Not many of them actually go there with evil and what people perceive as evil. You see what I'm saying? They might just be more or less evil people, but they don't really do evil things per se. And a lot of times, the people might say, well, the people who do certain crimes of passion were the most evil people. Maybe those were actually good people that they had to take a certain evil thing out on certain people that made them feel a certain way. Like this is really deep, y'all. I want y'all to think about this, because that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing a lot of people that were once codependent becoming more narcissistic, because unfortunately they let some things get to them. It's unfortunate. It happens. It's unfortunate. And I'm actually, yeah, I'm putting this in the here in the chat right now. Let me see if I can find this right quick. Okay. Yep, I got the link here. See if I can click on it. I'm gonna put this in the chat for y'all, so y'all can, this thing here. I think I'm gonna do this a better way. I don't know why this clipboard be acting up, but we got a better way. We got a better way. We got a better way of doing this. I think I got an idea. That's one thing you got to love about technology. When you really trying to put information out here, you got to deal with all these delays. But we good though. I want to, basically, my point is, I'm trying to put this in the link, the difference between the werewolf and the lichen. But with that said, I just want y'all to know kind of my moral of this story that I'm speaking right now. My personal opinion: don't let things get to you. Just don't. There's a lot of things going on in this world right now, and the way a lot of people are. There's a lot of shady and shisty people. I've had to deal with that personally. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all got stories, but just never let none of that stuff get to you. You're just dealing with a narcissistic person. That's all that is. Okay. Don't let people like that get to you. These are vampires that ultimately wish they could try to make you turn. And yeah, you're going to turn. Yeah, you're going to turn. You're going to probably look for them and do everything you could think of to them. But will it be worth it though? When it's all said and done, is it really worth it to go after these people in the same manner you felt they go after you, and you want to come back after them much worse, letting out more of your dark side? Is it really worth it? That's my question. Is it really worth it to become a darker version of yourself? Hopefully this live stream made sense to some. Maybe this live stream did not make sense to others, but to the others that this live stream made sense to, feel free to hit that like button, especially those listening to this on the replay. If this is your first time coming to this channel, you like my type of content, whether uploads, live streams, or even some of my short uploads, just know that there's definitely more in store. So make sure that you subscribe, share this live, as well as my other content. Just look at my archives. You'll see that I have a lot of different playlists that consists of a lot of diverse topics. Okay. You'll also see that on some of those live streams, if you go into the description section of them, this one here being the only exception that I haven't been able to do that, but on some of my live streams, you'll see that I have other platforms that I'm on. And, quite possibly for those checking this out on the replay, if I haven't already, you'll also see those same platforms, those other platforms that I'm Hopefully I'll have time to put that in the description section. Okay. That way you can check me out on other spaces, get an idea of how diverse I really am. This channel itself is already diverse as it is, but I have more than one channel. So I'm just diverse all around. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you get all of my uploads in real time. If you want to tip yours truly, for those in the replay, that should be in the description section. And obviously, for those here listening to me now, feel free. Look in the chat at the top. You'll see a comment that I pinned that shows a link to my Cash App. As I've always said, no expectation, no obligation, just appreciation if you want to tip yours truly. But I am getting a lot of people that want to see me go live more. So it's like, hey, this just, this lets me know, hey, Ray, we would love to see you a lot more. But also, hey, it's just appreciation as well. Because I'm not the type that's just going to go live unless people give me money. I'm not that type of guy. But yeah, that's it, Mike. That's probably the other thing. I think that's what it is. That's what it's going to come down to. I appreciate that because a lot of people probably just ain't accessing the Cash App like that. I get that, right? Some people might feel that's too personal for them. I totally understand. But that super chat, you could just click that and keep it moving. So I'm trying to keep my content a certain way so that I will be monetized very soon when that time comes, when I get a certain amount of subscribers, when I get to that 1K, right? So, but yeah, with that said, for those on the replay, the same link that I put in the chat for just the basics of the difference between werewolf and lichen, and I'm not even saying I agree with the statements of what this link offers, but it's just giving you a think tank that yes, it's a think tank, definitely a think tank that there is something different besides, like, there's a difference between the werewolf and the lichen. Okay, there's definitely a difference. But yeah, I'll put that in the comment section, and it'll be a pinned comment for those listening to this on the replay. But yeah, with all that said, just keep in mind that no matter what it's been looking out there, no matter what it's been looking like out there, it's actually been getting better from here, whether one realizes it or not. Yes, there are wars and rumors of wars and things like that, but it's not what a lot of people think it is, especially when a lot of us start coming together, because that's not what we want our next generation to see. And that's why it will only continue to get better from here, because we are speaking out more, because we want to have a tomorrow. We want to have a future for all of us, not just for some of them. And I'm not saying some of them to point out anybody, okay? So let that be known. But this earth, this world is for all of us, not just for some of whomever. It's for all of us. And it will continue to be for all of us. Okay. But with that said, I'll see y'all on the next one. I'll try to be more frequent with my live streams. My uploads, I put them out pretty consistently, maybe not as consistent as I used to be. However, I think times have changed. A lot of people want to see you go live now more than just seeing your uploads. I've noticed that. And I've tried to keep my live streams under a certain time frame to where people can actually enjoy them. Everybody got busy lives, and I definitely don't want to take up more of your time than necessary. So I try to give y'all some good things, but yet something that you can enjoy while you're doing, whatever your daily task is for the day. And till the next time, yeah, like I said, check out my archives and just know that there's definitely more in store. You said, Michael, not to mention, Ray, we're not over in Europe. Exactly. Exactly. So there's a lot more we can do here if we just all continue to speak up. Okay. And that's what we're going to do. A lot of people that are out here in these spaces, out here in these spheres, these different spheres, if you know what I'm talking about, not just saying manosphere, but these spheres, These fears have a lot of fear, okay? And we got to make a lot of that disappear, at least from our vicinity. I know from my vicinity, those things don't even appear. I just try to make things more clear. But you know, I'm from St. Louis. I got to say more clear. Oh, clear. Anyway, with that said, much love to y'all and see y'all on the next one. Thanks a million for stopping by. All right, now.